So I know that I've been covering a lot of these Krystal Ball appearances on CNN, but it's very important to highlight when progressives go on mainstream media, especially CNN. And Krystal Ball always does a great job when she goes on these shows stumping for Bernie. Now, I know she's not officially endorsed him. I think that's mostly because she works at The Hill, and she has a contract or whatever, but it's pretty obvious who she supports, of course. So let us go ahead and check this out because she calls out CNN to their faces.
For Elizabeth Warren, she and Pete Buttigieg really share a lot of the same sort of, more affluent, white, higher educated base. And so what we've seen throughout this primary is when one of them goes up, the other one goes down. That's exactly what we saw happen in Iowa. So she really has to come after Pete Buttigieg in a way that she hasn't necessarily been able to effectively do before. I think she's got a perfect opportunity with this week, the way that he claimed victory, the way that he ran around, acting like he was clearly victorious in Iowa. It sort of exposes this overly ambitious, careerist way that he conducts himself that I think is a core vulnerability for him. So I think she has to come hard after him. Joe Biden, on the other hand, I think he's got to show more of himself like he did in the CNN town hall. People really like Joe Biden. They trust him as a person, as a human being. And so he needs to be a little more vulnerable, a little more open. Debates have been a tough forum for him, so I think he's got a hard job ahead of him. But, I think that's what they've got to do tonight. And frankly, it's also a challenge because I don't know how many people are really going to tune in tonight after a wild week of politics where they're probably, frankly, exhausted. I was actually surprised to hear him talk about his family, about his upbringing, about his Jewish faith, the way that impacted him being, watching Holocaust survivors with the tattoos on their arms when he was growing up in the neighborhood that he was in. Look, honestly, I think Bernie Sanders is in a fantastic position right now. He just won Iowa. He's projected by 538 to literally win right now by their model every single remaining primary state. So I think he just needs to keep doing what he's doing. The number one issue for Democratic primary voters is healthcare. He is the most trusted candidate on that issue. That's why he's continued to have a lead in New Hampshire and consolidated that progressive lane. So I think he just needs to keep it up. For any news outlet, and I know a decision was made here, to essentially go with these results and even to characterize it as Pete Buttigieg has a lead when your own reporting says that it's riddled with errors. I just think that's, I think it's irresponsible.
We haven't declared a
frankly.
winner. The numbers up on the screen as reported by the Iowa Democratic Party and making clear.
Yeah, but we know that they're wrong.
They're a mess. They're
wrong.
They're a mess. They're a mess. And I think we made that crystal clear.
Oh man, I love how squirmish the guy gets when she starts bringing it up. He literally puts up his hand in a very interesting way. He just starts getting all squirmish, as you can see. He's like, oh man, you're actually calling us out on this. And he's actually wrong. They actually did announce a winner, Chris Cuomo, right before Pete Buttigieg came on. This is the lunacy of all of this, okay? So they announced these bogus 100% results, all right before Pete Buttigieg got on his CNN town hall and right after Bernie was off of his town hall. So that's like the lunacy of all this. That's how crazy this is getting, to the point where it's like, wow, it's so calculated that it's coming out. I mean, just think about what are the odds of that actually happening, okay? Truly, truly remarkable stuff here, okay? And they did announce that he won, and, running with those numbers when it's false. CNN had their own report. Every network had their own report saying these numbers are rife with errors. NBC had that. New York Times had that, and so did CNN. They had their own report out. And the Bernie Sanders campaign sent out an email outlining every single delegate error. So Bernie Sanders has swept Iowa. I don't know when the IDP/DNC are going to fix the numbers and put them out, because Bernie demolished in the popular vote in the first round. He won soundly in the second round with the popular vote. And then he also won with SDE, state delegate equivalents. So, and that's because once those corrections are in, it will be above Pete's margin of victory, but they have not done anything about it. And so it's really awesome to see a progressive able to go on and just straight up call them out on their BS and their, journalistic malpractice. Often we didn't get this opportunity in 2016 when they would include the superdelegate counter in their count to make it look like Bernie Sanders has no chance of winning, which was incredibly frustrating. I know that got me super angry. Luckily, superdelegates are only on the second ballot, although we should abolish them altogether. And I want to do one correction of Krystal. She's actually wrong when she says he's projected to win every state. He's projected to win every state except Alabama and Delaware. So I just want to throw that out there. So all of them except for 2 states. And then when he says at the end there that made that crystal clear, kind of funny. Krystal Ball, obviously. But very cool to see this. Shout out to Krystal Ball once again.